Hi, I'm Calvin C, and this is not a music video. This is also not coffee. You can mark today's date down on the calendar. It's mid-January 2024, and it is cold. So this is hot coffee for a change, not no. Say that again. This is hot chocolate for a change. It's not coffee. That was my reminder to record this video, so I'm finally ahead of the game. Anyway, it's January 2024. It is cold, y'all. It is cold, and there's nowhere to run. I mean, everyone knows that I hate the North, and I want to move south because they have decent weather in the south. Well, today there's freeze warnings in Louisiana. It's 36 degrees in Dallas. It's a balmy 54 degrees now in Orlando, but they gonna freeze in just a few hours, and I mean freeze. The temperature's dipping below 32 in Orlando. New Mexico is already at 55 degrees, but they're getting snow tonight. Arizona, now that seems to be the place to be. They're the hot spot with temperatures in the mid-60s. Got to keep that in mind. Hey, before we get started, you should subscribe to my channel because, well, the more the merrier. And hit the notification bell so that you know first whenever I post new content. And like this video. Hit the like button. You'll want to by the end anyway. Now, as you can see, I'm getting better with green screens. Maybe not so much here. If you're learning from my channel, first of all, I'm wondering why, because I'm sort of making it up as I go. But if you're learning, AI background removers are newer than the whole green screen thing. So far, I prefer them. In fact, even though I've got a green screen behind me, I'm probably going to use the AI background remover to get rid of it. And I really wonder what it's going to do with this. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Anyway, if you have to go with green screens though, buy an iron and use it on the screen. Now, as you can see, or maybe not see, hopefully, this is what I'm telling you, not necessarily what I'm doing, but buy an iron, use it on the green screen. A flat screen with no fold lines is much easier to mask. And manipulate your lighting as much as possible. Manipulate your lighting as much as possible. I really ought to put a blanket over that window, but nah, not gonna happen. I think the main reason I prefer AI background removal is that balancing lighting is a lot of work and takes some time. I don't have a lot of time, and I don't like a lot of work. Alright, you came here thinking that I was going to do a music review, but not today. I'm doing a movie review. Here we go. 1001 is a 2023 film written and directed by A.V. Rockwell in her featured directorial debut. The film stars Teyana Taylor, Will Catlett, Josiah Cross, Avon Courtney, and Aaron Kingsley Adetola. It's set in the 1990s and 2000s. It follows a single mother who decides to kidnap her son out of the foster care system to raise him herself as the two struggle with life in a constantly changing New York City. The movie drew me in because it looked to be a story of a poor young black mother struggling to raise her son in Harlem. Several elements of that resonate with me. But this movie grew past that description to encompass other elements that also resonate with me. 1001's cast do an excellent job of bringing the story to life. I certainly hope that I see more of these fine actors. Teyana Taylor stars as Inez, who we first meet Inez shortly after. I'm leaving all these mistakes in. There's no blooper reel today. The bloopers are part of it. So it is. Teyana Taylor stars as Inez, who we first meet shortly after she's been released from Rikers and trying to piece her life back together by calling on old connections. She's making phone calls only to find that half the numbers have changed. She's going to old jobs and hangouts only to find out that she's still got skills. She's a talented hairdresser, but I can't hire you right now, or the place has been closed for a year. It's notable that there is no social worker or other official help, and apparently she served her full time and is not on paper because there's no parole officer. While she's looking for help, she sees her son, Terry, who went into foster care when she got locked up. A few days later, Terry is injured while trying to escape from his current foster home. Inez visits him in the hospital and eventually kidnaps him so he won't return to the foster system. While many women would have gotten caught, returned to jail, and had their son thrown back into foster care, Inez is pretty smart. The entire movie is really the story of three main characters. I'll get to the third character soon. And it's set over at least 10 years. Inez sets up her and Terry's life so that her getting caught is almost not a threat. Before moving on, let me point out that Terry is played by 3 different actors since he grows up during the course of the movie. When I say that I hope to see more of these fine actors, I certainly include the 3 who played Terry. Another thing I noticed was the dynamic between Terry and Inez. It's hurtful, yet loving. It's real, and it's a natural outbirth of the pain that both have been through and the pain that each is carrying the other through during the movie, even though sometimes each is causing the pain that the other is going through. Earlier, I mentioned Inez's intelligence. Of course, she's using her smarts to get around the system, primarily in building a life without getting caught for kidnapping Terry. But I found myself wondering how awesome that intelligence would have been in a more, I'll say it, non-ghetto context. And that led me to lament that in real life, in 2024 now, in poor areas of Chicago, New York, and many, many other areas in America, that same intelligence exists and is being wasted in almost exactly the same way. I don't know what the answer is, but imagine the success stories, imagine the black pride, imagine the empowerment if we could channel all that intellect into successful pursuits rather than simply survival. Moving on. Lucky is Inez's former boyfriend. When Inez first gets out of jail at the start of this movie, Lucky is still in. Lucky gets out, and he and Inez rekindle their relationship. The relationship is rocky at first because Lucky's a player, and players do what players do. Plus, Terry isn't Lucky's son, although Terry doesn't know this. As time goes on, Lucky and Inez get married, and Lucky warms up to Terry, treating him as his actual son. Even as Terry becomes a teen, nobody tells him that he's not. The scenes and the dynamic between Lucky and Terry are wonderful. This should be watched by every black boy in America and they should be told that this is what a man does. This is what a father does. It's not picture perfect, not by any means. But I think anyone would agree with me that Terry had a father worthy of the title, and his name was Lucky. Terry's also an intelligent kid. He's book smart, but not a nerd. He gets an opportunity to enroll in a STEM school. Remember back in the early 2000s, late 1990s, STEM schools were like the big thing. Now, again, I praise the realness of this movie. It is pretty real. Anyway, Terry has his own views on moving schools. I don't know anyone there, that kind of thing. But he consults with both his mom and his dad, and while they both boil it down to being his choice, they give him their own views, basically sharing every parent's dream with him that their child attains more and rises higher than they did. 1001 overall is an excellent movie with an excellent cast. The middle is a little slow, but it wakes you up after a brief slow spell and keeps you awake through the end. Speaking of the end, there's a twist near the end. Not a Twilight Zone level twist. Some people may even see it coming, but it's good and it keeps the movie going to the end. To my mind, it even makes the movie's ambiguous ending more satisfying. One thing I loved about Lucky was that he shared music with Terry. It wasn't a major thing, but it was a part of Terry's upbringing, and I'm sure that if this were a real story, Terry would have been shaped by those memories of Dad pulling out his records and cassettes. The tune playing in the... Oh, that's a new paragraph. Moving on. The tune playing in the closing credits of the movie was written for it. It's called Reprise from 1001. It's a soulful tune that I liked instantly, and somehow totally ignored the fact that a variation of it was the opening theme from 1001, and that another variation was used in one of the scenes. Strange how you can hear good music and get distracted by, visuals, dialogue. Two songs that were not in this movie, but this movie reminded me of. Black Pearl by Sonny Charles and the Checkmates Limited, and Color Him Father by the Winstons. You ought to look those songs up and check them out. So those are my thoughts on the movie 1001. I'd love to hear your thoughts. That's what the comments are for, so speak your mind. Also, I'd like it if you hit the like button on this video and if you subscribe to my channel. There's no real easy way to describe my channel except to say that there's a lot of music on it. Subscribe to it, check it out, and see for yourself. Have a great day, and keep thinking for yourself. God bless.